Title: aitah for telling my stepdad I can wear what I want and go out when I want, since it's technically my house, and for considering charging him rent. When I turned 19, I thought freedom would taste like champagne and city lights. Instead, it tastes like awkward dinners, tense silences, and the faint smell of my stepdad's cologne lingering in the kitchen long after has left. Let me explain. My mom married Daniel 3 years ago. Has charming. That fake kind of charming that works perfectly on strangers, but slips the moment has comfortable. You know the type: firm handshake, fake smile, expensive watch, always just trying to help. After my dad passed away, Mom fell apart. She met Daniel at a grief support group and within months had moved in. At first, I didn't care. I was 18, half out the door, focusing on my final year before college. But then something strange happened. Mom transferred our family house into my name. She said it was to secure my future, to make sure no man ever took it from me like the last one had. She didn't realize how right she was. When I came back from college for the summer, everything was different. My mom was working longer hours, Daniel was managing things at home, and apparently that meant making rules for me. He didn't like what I wore. Said my shorts were distracting. Didn't like when I went out with friends late. Said a respectable woman doesn't wander around at midnight. He started texting me things like, "Let me know when you're home safe. You know I worry." Creepy, right? But Mom brushed it off. "He just cares," she'd say, her voice trembling slightly, like she wasn't sure if she believed it herself. Last week was the breaking point. I was getting ready to go out. Simple jeans, crop top, nothing crazy. Daniel leaned in the kitchen doorway, beer in hand, watching. He said, "If you're going out dressed like that, you're not leaving this house." I laughed. I honestly thought he was joking. He wasn't. So I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Actually, this is my house. I can wear whatever I want and go out whenever I want." The look on his face, he went pale first, then red. "Don't disrespect me in my own home," he snapped. "Funny," I said. "It's my home. You and Mom don't even pay the property taxes. Maybe I should start charging you rent." Mom walked in right as I said it. She froze, eyes wide, torn between us. I could see the storm brewing. Daniel muttered something under his breath, grabbed his keys, and slammed the door behind him. That night, Mom cried. The quiet kind of crying that fills the whole house without a sound. She said I'd humiliated him, made things worse. I told her I was done pretending that his controlling behavior was normal. But then, things got weird. The next morning, I woke up to find that my bedroom door wouldn't open. It wasn't locked, it was jammed. Like someone had wedged something under it. I heard Daniel downstairs, humming, the sound of a screwdriver echoing. When I finally forced the door open, one of the hinges was missing. He smiled when he saw me. "Oh, sorry, just fixing things around the house," he said, wiping his hands. Since then, has been acting different. To quiet, to polite. He bought me flowers to apologize, but the note just said, "House rules still apply." I've started staying out later on purpose just to see how far hell'll go. And every time I come home, I swear I feel him watching me through the window. Not angry anymore, but patient, waiting. So yeah, maybe I went too far. Maybe I shouldn't have said what I said. But sometimes, when I walk through the hall at night and see the faint light under their bedroom door, I wonder who's really in control. Me, the one who owns the house, or him, the one who's slowly trying to own me. So tell me, am I the asshole for reminding him whose house this really is? Or am I just the next thing he's planning to take? Part 2. The walls. Remember, after that night, something in the air shifted. The house didn't feel like mine anymore. Every room seemed to echo differently, like the walls were listening. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, that Daniel was just a creep with control issues. But deep down, I knew there was more to it. It started with small things. The front door lock was changed while I was out. My old key didn't fit anymore. Daniel smiled when I mentioned it and said, "Just upgraded security. You can use the new code," but he never gave me the code. Then the Wi-Fi password stopped working. The cameras Mom installed outside after a break-in years ago suddenly went offline. Every time I asked, Daniel said, "Don't worry about it. It'll handle the tech stuff." He was handling everything. Mom grew quieter, like a ghost walking through her own house. I'd catch her staring at the floor, her lips moving soundlessly. Once, I heard her whisper, just hold on a little longer." Hold on to what? I decided to check the property papers, The one shed transferred to my name. I kept them in a small fireproof box under my bed. When I opened it, the box was empty. Every single document gone. That's when I started keeping a diary. Not the cute teenage kind, but a log, dates, times, everything he did, everything that felt off. I even took photos. His car parked close to the back door, weird scratches on my doorframe, the missing hinge, the footprints outside my window. At first, I thought I was just documenting my own anxiety, but then one night I caught him. It was 2:47 a.m. I woke up to the sound of the floor creaking. That slow, deliberate creak of someone trying not to wake you. I didn't move. I just lay there holding my breath, pretending to be asleep. The doorknob turned. He pushed the door open just a few inches. The light from the hallway cast his shadow across my bed. I could hear him breathing, calm, steady. Then, after what felt like forever, he whispered, "You think this house belongs to you, huh?" And he laughed, not loud, just a low, broken laugh that crawled down my spine. Then the door clicked shut. The next morning, Mom acted like nothing had happened. Pancakes, orange juice, the usual fake morning smiles. Daniel was humming again, always humming. That same tune he played the night the hinge disappeared. I couldn't take it anymore. That evening, I called my friend Mara, told her I was thinking of leaving. She said I could crash at her place. As long as you want. But when I tried to pack, my suitcase was missing. My clothes were scattered around the room, drawers half open. Someone had gone through everything. And there, on my pillow, was a note. It said, "Leaving won't change who owns what." I confronted Mom. She broke. She told me something I wish I couldn't hear. The house wasn't in my name anymore. She had transferred it back. Quietly last winter. Daniel convinced her it would be better for taxes, that a 19-year-old shouldn't handle legal property. I wasn't the owner. He was. When I asked why she hadn't told me, she started shaking, tears running down her face. "You don't understand," she said. "He said if I didn't he'd leave, and I can't lose anyone again." That's when I realized she wasn't crying because of guilt. She was crying because she was trapped too. That night, I packed a backpack with whatever I could grab and ran. But when I opened the front door, Daniel was already there, sitting on the porch like he'd been waiting all along. He didn't yell, didn't move, just looked at me and said, "Funny thing about houses, they remember who really belongs inside." Then he smiled, a small, tired smile. "Your mom signed the papers. You can check, but if you leave, you'll never see her again." I froze. Behind him, I saw movement through the window. Mom, standing in the hallway, her eyes wide, one hand covering her mouth. She looked like she wanted to scream something but didn't. So I stayed for a few more nights, each one worse than the last. He started locking certain doors. The basement, the attic, my room from the outside. And then he began whispering things under his breath when he passed me. Little phrases, like "ungrateful girl," or "this house doesn't want you." The weirdest part, I started hearing things too. The walls creaked in patterns, like footsteps above me even when I knew no one was upstairs. The lights flickered at exactly 3 a.m. Every night, the same minute I'd first heard him open my door. Then last night I heard a new sound. Someone crying. Not Mom, not him. The crying came from inside the walls. I pressed my ear to the plaster near the headboard. It sounded like a woman, whispering, gasping, saying something I could barely make out. Over and over again. "You shouldn't have given it away." Now I don't know what's worse, that Daniel might be dangerous, or that the house itself might not want to let me go. I found something else this morning, scratched into the wood of the bathroom door. It wasn't there yesterday. It said, "Houses keep secrets. Rent is just the price of staying alive." I'm writing this from my room with the door barricaded. My phone battery is at 9%. I can hear him downstairs, humming again. I think he knows I'm posting this. If I don't update again, please, just remember this. You can't own something that remembers someone else's name, and this house remembers his. Part 3. The house he built. It's been 3 days since I last posted, or maybe 4. The clocks don't work right anymore. Every time I try to count the hours, the shadows shift. The house hums, not loudly, just low, like a stomach growling in hunger. It's waiting. Daniel doesn't knock on my door anymore. He doesn't have to. I hear his voice through the vents, soft and steady, like he's reading bedtime stories to the walls. Sometimes I think he's talking to me. Other times I think he's talking to the house itself. The first night after I barricaded the door, I fell asleep with a knife under my pillow. When I woke up, the knife was gone. In its place, there was a folded note, "Locks are just suggestions." That's when I realized he had been inside. Not while I was awake, not while I was asleep, but between those moments. That narrow second where your brain switches when you're not fully one thing or the other. That's when he moved. Mom hasn't left her room in 2 days. I tried knocking. No answer. The door handle was warm, like someone had been holding it from the other side. When I pressed my ear against it, I heard whispering again. To voices, hers and his. He said, "It's almost done." She said, "Please don't make her stay." I don't know what that means, but I think I finally understand what kind of man Daniel is. I found old photos in the attic today. Black and white, curling at the edges. The kind that smell like dust and loss. There were families in them. Different faces, different decades. Always the same house. One picture stopped me cold. A young woman, maybe early 20s, standing on the front porch, smiling too wide. Behind her, a man's hand on her shoulder. The man's face was blurred, not from damage, but like the film itself refused to capture him. On the back, in faint handwriting, "Tenants must always pay." Underneath the box of photos was something else, a small, leather-bound book. The pages were filled with messy writing, signed with the same initials every few entries. D.K. Daniel K. Except the earliest date was from 1979. He wasn't alive then. He couldn't have been. Unless... There's something wrong with time here. The longer I stay, the more I forget what's real. Sometimes I see my reflection blink a second too late. Sometimes I hear my own voice calling from another room. But worst of all, I've started dreaming the same dream every night. In it, I'm walking through the house, only everything is reversed. The hallway bends in impossible angles. The windows open to black water instead of air. And at the end of the corridor, there's a door that doesn't exist in the real house. When I open it, Daniel is standing inside, smiling. But behind him, there's a row of people. Dozens, all pale and quiet, their eyes hollow, their mouths sewn shut. And one of them is my mother. She's mouthing something I can't hear, over and over again. When I wake up, my throat hurts like I've been screaming. Last night, I heard the front door open at exactly 3 a.m. The same time the lights flicker. Footsteps echoed up the stairs, slow and deliberate. Then, silence. And then my mom's voice. "Sweetheart," she whispered from the other side of the door. "It's okay. You can come out now." But her voice wasn't right. It was too smooth, too steady. So I stayed silent. She knocked once, twice. Then I heard her laugh, not her usual laugh, but Daniel's, low and cracked. Then the voice said, "It's technically my house now," and the lights went out. This morning, everything was clean. The dust was gone, the dishes washed, the smell of his cologne thick in the air. My phone was fully charged, though I hadn't touched it. There was a new message on the lock screen, an unsent draft that wasn't from me. Aitah for staying in a house that won't let me leave. I didn't type that. But here's the thing. The camera app keeps opening on its own. Every time it does, it shows the living room even though I'm upstairs. In the latest photo, there's a reflection in the window. A man standing behind me, Daniel, except has wearing the same clothes as in that old 1979 photo. I think I know now what happened to the people who lived here before us. The diary talked about inheritance of space. How ownership wasn't about papers or names, but presence, that the house chose its keeper, that every generation it needed one to maintain the order. I thought Daniel manipulated Mom into giving him the deed, but maybe the house did. Maybe that's how it survives. Through betrayal, through ownership, through someone always taking what isn't theirs. And now it's my turn. I found the last page of his diary under my bed this morning. It said, "The next one will fight." They always do. But in the end, they stay. They always stay. Below that, in smaller handwriting, my mother's, it said, "Please forgive me. It's the only way I can keep you here." I think she made a deal. Maybe the house takes one of us every generation. Maybe that's why she's still here and why I can't leave. Because I've tried. I walked out the front door this evening. I made it halfway down the driveway, but when I turned around, The house wasn't behind me anymore. There was only fog. And when I stepped forward again, I was standing back in the hallway holding the doorknob, heart pounding. You can't leave something that's already inside you. Daniel just called my name from downstairs, calm, almost gentle. He said, "Dinner's ready." But Mom's been gone for days. The humming has started again. The lights are flickering. The floor under me feels warm, like something is breathing beneath it. I can hear voices through the walls, soft, overlapping, familiar. One of them sounds like mine, another like hers, another like his. They're saying the same thing: rent is due. If anyone reads this, if somehow this post goes through, please don't come looking for me. Don't come near this house. Don't try to help. Because you'll think it empty. You'll think it's safe. But the moment you step inside, it'll know your name too. And once it does, you'll never move out again.